Hey baddies, full spectrum baddies. Listen, this video is for the version of you that just knows there is so much more. If you've ever felt like you've had to dim your creativity, your light, your voice to fit in, then this video is for you because I've been there and it sucks, I'm not gonna lie, but here we are, fresh. I want to say out the womb because the winter is the womb and ready to take up more space audaciously. And here's why you should too. This video feels like a returning, one that's very needed, and I'm excited to film just before we enter into 2026. To move away from the hoo ha of the new year, new me bullshit, I want to show up in presence, something I've been deepening in, practicing through my embodiment journey, and returning to myself over and over again. The last 9 years have been nothing short of that, but deepening the layers of this work so that I can show up audaciously, authentically as myself, taking up more space instead of thinking about the fear of being seen or perceived. Being able to reframe my mindset in that way has brought forward numerous shifts in the way that I feel, in the way that I show up, in the way that I hold myself, connect with people, and apply myself in my work. And I'm so grateful to be here as I am, to say that I've made it through some of the darkest times of my life and still have so much love to give. Better yet, I'm holding wisdom of years and years of practice, of trying, of failing, and succeeding, because we all know that failing only stands for, if I can remember, what do you even call it? The What's the name of it? What do you call the acronym? Wow, why was that so hard to remember? Anyways, failing failing just stands for first attempt in life. First attempt in life. We're going to go with that. Failing. To fail is just your first attempt in life. No, failing is going to be your first attempt in the lesson that you're learning, because the reality is failing isn't really a fail if you get up and you try again. Failing allows you to recognize what doesn't work faster so that you can quickly get to what does. So remember, if there's anything that you can take from this video, know that you are not a failure. Know that you trying is more than what most people tend to do. And you getting back up, standing up 8 times after falling down seven, you already know. You already know. Resilience, babe. Clock it. Okay. And that is a skill you need to hold highly walking into 2026. Okay, Hans? And for the rest of your life. Period. Over the last 60 days, I've been unearthing parts of myself that I used to be afraid to share publicly. Um, there's been versions of me, admittedly, that I've been protecting since I was small, and approaching 30, that will never get old. Like, because what the actual F? Approaching 30, it's about freaking time that I'm able to wholeheartedly embrace, unearth, and embody all that I am. And that's on Full Spectrum Baddie 101. Okay, guys, if you ever hear me talk about your full spectrum baddie, this is what I mean. Okay, being able to embrace all parts of yourself, all versions of yourself, to really lean into your narrative, to uncover your blueprint, the codes that truly enable you to be the beautiful, unique human that you are. There is no one else like you, and that matters. Your voice matters, and your voice is welcome here. Your expression matters, and your expression is welcome here. Your art matters, and your art is welcome here. Same as your creativity, okay? Same as your evolution, same as your presence. And that is how I stay rooted in the Love is Garden. And without saying too much, is where the Love is Garden was born. But we'll get into that in another video. I'm returning to myself, and it feels so good to be entering a new Gregorian year with a strong sense of continuity, discipline, devotion. Because devotion is truly just showing up for yourself daily in the quiet whispers behind closed doors where nobody can see you. What are the actions you are taking that are actually going to propel you in the direction you seek to be in? One step. That is all your focus is right now. Just one step. What is the one step you need to take right now? I encourage you to sit with that and focus on that. And do your best to only focus on that one step, because I know it can get overwhelming, especially when you are flooded with lots of intel, receiving all these downloads, all these ideas. It gets exciting, but we also need to remember how to slow down and fine tune, focus. I first noticed myself shrinking and hiding when um, I would see people, I would witness other people that I found admirable, that I was inspired by for whatever reason, through their work, their creativity, the way that they just showed up in the world. And I thought to myself, wow, I wish I could be like you, or I really just love this trait that you ooze out of your being just with such confidence. And I would connect with it because the deeper layers, the deeper understanding was that I also held this way of being within me. And I had only just wished to showcase it. Also, there were times where I used to. So, hold on a minute. I have been sharing over the past 60 days embodied flows online. I've been returning to myself, been shaking off the cobwebs and saying, fuck it. Okay. I started off this year saying, this is how silly I'm going to be gliding through 2025, kind of making a joke out of it, because the reality is I didn't want to carry shame. I didn't want to, I was working through judgment, the idea of being perceived, and really shifting my perspective, really coming out of my mind and stepping into my body. And, through devotion, through different layers of consistency, I worked myself back into my body in a way where I now feel confident, and I just don't feel the pressure to perform. I'm doing it for myself. This is an internal practice that I have been doing since the day of dawn. I'm just choosing to share it because I finally reached that threshold where I'm done hiding for the comfort of others. I too have dreams. I too have things that make me unique and I love about myself. I too no longer want to feel ashamed for being the way that I am. I too want to live my best life. I want to live my good life. I want to be happy. I want to increase my happiness. So it's, just following what brings me joy and increasing that, the epitome of positive psychology, guys. Wouldn't you like to know? But yeah, it's just been this really cathartic journey of returning back to myself. And through the process of these last 60 plus days, I've worked through all kinds of emotions, all kinds of mental blocks, all kinds of um, questioning whether it's good enough to even share. And it's interesting how working through these thought patterns, showing up anyway, has been rewiring my brain and the connection that I have with my heart, body, mind, soul. I used to dance in the mirror all the time as a child, and it was just a moment, an intimate moment that I shared with me and myself. But the funny thing is, I also enjoyed like moving and dancing and vibing with certain people when I used to go to parties. I used to get down, have a little dance battle, just lighthearted fun. I didn't think too much of it. I was just really in the moment. I really felt it in my soul, deep in my body. But there was a time, many times, where I early on began to resist listening to the calls of my body. I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to go too deep. We'll save this for another time. Like we're getting too deep. And essentially, how I stopped performing and embodying my truth was day after day going back to myself and asking myself, what do you want right now? And tuning into my body and seeing how my body felt. If I felt resistance to something, there could be two truths that live there. One is there is room for me to grow, or two, my body's trying to talk to me. I mean, my body's always trying to talk to me, but what is my body trying to say? And I would sit with that and I would process that and I would coach myself through that process. Um, what do I want to get from this? Why am I doing this? And when the answer was always because it feels good. It brings me joy. I hope to inspire somebody. I don't want to carry shame. Um, I want to release fear of being seen. I want to build confidence. I want to live in my truth. They're all valid reasons for showing up in the ways that I choose to. And I think my biggest learning curve was my fear of taking up space. And that stems from a whole load of preconditioning that we're not going to get into in this video. But it's really amazing to be able to map these things out clearly for myself, to take accountability, to realize I'm the one who's responsible for how my life is going to look moving forward. And I'm ready to change that. I'm ready to stop fucking around. I'm ready to just really embrace everything that I've always seen for myself. And it feels amazing. It really does. So please, if there is anything that you're feeling called to do, just do it. Don't think it, just do it. I've been really sitting on that. Nike, you guys, you're real ones for that, because it is just a simple phrase, but that the simplicity in that phrase is highlighting an impact, an action rooted in love that, if taken seriously, will take you to new heights that you could never possibly imagine. Embodying truth doesn't have to be loud. It's the quiet shifts that take place behind closed doors. What quiet shifts are calling you forward in this new season? I also returned back to Her Naked Thoughts, which is a publication, a blog post, if you will, that I started, I want to say 2018, the blog itself, but I started writing as Her Naked Thoughts prior to that, um, maybe 2016, give or take. Anyways, the point here is I've returned back to those archives of words and I've decided I want to go public, sharing them, but I've given 30 days. We've now got two or 3 days. I think two, actually. It's the 29th of December right now, to close that archive behind a paywall, because these words they're really deep and meaningful to me, and I decided if I'm gonna share them, it's not that I want to share them because I desire for everybody to read my innermost thoughts. I'm sharing them to do the deeper work, um of this process of embracing my whole truth, of being able to stand in my truth no matter what people think, to be feeling safe within myself, to say that if I share all these innermost parts of myself, how does it make me feel? But yeah, guys, I hope that there is something in this video that inspires you to reconnect with your inner voice, with your creativity, with your art, with your work in a new way, or in a way that is old and births new life into where you are currently now. With so much love, Kari, She Flowered, your heart led hype woman.